I am Minna Taylor, and I am one of the co-founders of the Facilitator Store, which is the organization that is putting on this incredible little event. And we are so honored to have our collective members, our genius, incredible, brilliant collective members here to share some of their valuable wisdom. So without further ado, I know Kalissa's ready. She is amped and ready to kick things off. So we have Kalissa Ngazi, professor, speaker, author, all around powerhouse. Such great vibes, such great energy. Kalissa is a neurospicy ADHD professional. We love that terminology. And I was just saying, you're blowing up my LinkedIn with your new best-selling book, The Oxygen Mask Mindset, which is your unapologetic permission slip to put yourself first so you can breathe, own your time, and show up fierce, fueled, and completely burnout proof. We love this. All right, Kalissa, I am going to first make sure that I pin you. And then I'm going to turn it over to you for your 1 minute. Let's go.
Beautiful. Let's kick it off. The oxygen mask mindset. Now, this is a framework that I came up with while I was on a plane. At the end of the day, we're in this space where you can't be everything to everyone all the time. And unfortunately, whether it's corporate, whether you're a single mom, whatever space that you fill up, society wants us to maintain this hustle culture mentality. I'm here to say no is a complete sentence, and we need to start owning that. Now, you wearing burnout as a badge of honor, who is that actually servicing? Because I can tell you, it is not servicing you. So you need to learn the tips, tricks, and tools to be able to promote appropriate levels of self-care for yourself so that you can start to service not only you, but your family members, your friends, anyone that you work with. At the end of the day, you need to protect your peace because guess what? There is absolutely nobody else in this world that's going to do it except for you. Thank you.
Right on the money. We love it. Yes, amazing. Let's give a round of applause for Kalissa. That was awesome. Yes, kicking off our dose for Serenity Now. Thank you so much. Well, let's move it right along. Log it. Feel that. Yes, burnout is not a badge of honor. We are loving this. Next up, we have the one, the only, Gary LeBlanc. So Gary is going to give us the gift of quieting the noise with character. So today he'll share 1 minute of wisdom to help you learn to amplify your signal and silence the noise using character as your compass in a world full of distractions. Anybody else relate to that? I sure as heck do. So Gary, without further ado, I am now going to unpin Kalissa. I'm going to pin you. Oh, here we go. And whenever you are ready, lay it on us.
Hey, everybody. We live in a world of endless noise more than ever, and it's not just pings and notifications, but deeper static issues, difficult relationships, career stress, that nagging feeling we're not living the life we're supposed to. And in engineering, we talk about signal to noise ratio, what's serving us versus what's draining our effectiveness. I believe it's our character, which is our personal filter. So I have this tattoo. It's ethos, anthropos, daemon, loosely translated character's fate. Heraclitus coined this, and he understood something profound, that the choices we make rooted in who we are literally shape our destiny. When you have clarity on your character, when humility keeps your ego in check, when bravery helps you face what matters, when honesty builds trust you can count on, you can start hearing the signal through all that static. The noise wants you to react, character teaches you to respond. So, where's your noise? What's that one area you can nudge in a better direction this week? Because character isn't just who you are, it's who you're becoming. And as always, when in doubt, pause, breathe, and quiet the noise.
I was going to applaud, but I'm like, no, let's pause, let's breathe, let's quiet the noise. Yes, thank you so much, Gary. What powerful insights. Thank you so much. Uh, Now we're going to sort of shift that vibe a little bit, and we are going to move over to our incredible Jillian Mandich. So, all right. So, Jillian is a professor, a speaker. She's speaking all over the place right now. It's amazing. We just heard some of it before the call. And she is the founder of the International Happiness Institute of Health Science Research. This makes my heart happy for sure. I am all about this line of work. Happiness is not a destination, it's a practice. And today she's going to share that research reminds us that happiness isn't something that we earn, it's something that we learn, practice, and build. So, without further ado, let's get deeper insights from Jillian whenever you are ready.
Thank you. Before I start, just want to let you know I have a French bulldog snoring beside me. So if you hear snoring at any time during my minute, I'm not putting myself to sleep. It's my little guy. Okay. On that note, speaking of happiness, he's my happiness. So I'm a happiness researcher. And the number one question that I get asked is like, Jillian, what do I do to be happy? How can I be happy? And my answer is always the same. And it's that before we start to do anything, before we start to add to our already busy to-do list, it's about rethinking and relearning what happiness actually is. Because so often we think, I will be happy when, fill in the blank, right? When I have X amount of dollars, when I get married, when I get the house, the car. But when we look to the research, what we see is that happiness is not a destination. It's a practice, it's a habit. And so switching the lens of how we look at happiness, and I look at happiness the same way I look at physical activity. None of us would go to the gym today, have the best workout of our life, and be like, I've reached fitness, right? We understand that if we want to be fit and healthy, we have to move our body on a regular basis. And a lot of our happiness comes down to that too. It's a habit and it's a practice. But what's exciting about that is when we see it that way, it takes our happiness as contingent on something that may or may not happen in the future. And it brings it into something we can do today, because we can all ask ourselves, what's one thing that I can do today to put in a rep to make myself happier?
Love it. Love it. Thank you. Jillian. She's just like, yes, make ourselves happier. Yeah. Love that smile. Amazing. Thank you so much. I am going to remove your pin. And next up, Josh, are you ready? You ready to go?
Ready to go.
Amazing. All right, so I am going to introduce you as I pin you. So up here we have Josh Cassidy, who's a motivational speaker and a 31-time Canadian wheelchair champion racer. I just thought that was the coolest thing. Josh is going to talk about realigning reality with intention. He's going to help us realize that tapping into our ability to consciously reprogram our mind and shift our feeling state into a more desirable space is always going to be the way to go. So without further ado, Josh, take it away.
Have you ever woken up from a dream that you felt like was real, whether it was a nightmare, devastation of losing a loved one, or the bliss of meeting the love of your life? None of these actually happen in reality, but your body feels these feelings as if they were real. That's the power our mind has on our experience. And often we wake with these residual emotions from our dreams, and we can dwell on them throughout the day, or we forget the contents of the dream, but subconsciously we still have these feelings in our body that we carry through our day with us, with the stresses and anxieties. And then that energy just subconsciously dictates our trajectory of the day. So we actually have a conscious ability to program our mind, tap into our desired feelings, reset our energy through focused intention. And a great way to shift that is through gratitude, which is almost becoming a buzzword, but there's truth behind the power of that practice, to take a moment to think about and feel what you're truly grateful for. And next, what do you desire? What do you want for your day today? And envision it, feel it, get into the practice of it actually happening in your body with your feelings and in your mind and your visualization with confidence, and fill yourself with positivity and excitement for all of the possibilities and beautiful moments and gifts and the little successes that could happen throughout the day. It all begins with a perspective shift, focused alignment, and positive intention.
Awesome. Thank you, Josh. I think there's so much value in just taking those moments of intentionally honoring and acknowledging. So thank you so much for giving us the space and kind reminder to make that a really intentional practice for ourselves. And I see that Coach Carrie has joined us on the call. So I might bring in Coach Carrie. Coach Carrie, are you ready? Are you ready
Ready
to
to
dive
rock.
right in?
Let's do it.
Okay, I love it. Amazing. Okay, so Coach Carrie, we have such a pleasure to welcome you. I am such a fan of learning about imposter syndrome. So really excited to hear more. So Coach Carrie is a speaker and an overall burst of inspiration and is here to debunk imposter syndrome. And so we're finally going to get some clarity around what it means, how it can show up for us, and tangible tools on how to move through it. So without further ado, I'm going to pin you so we see you and set the timer whenever you're ready.
Okay, let's get right into it. Imposter syndrome, even just the name kind of gives people the wrong impression. Number one, it is not a syndrome. Number two, no one in the world is on medication for imposter syndrome. I like to call it imposter thinking. I mean, first and foremost, it's a psychological pattern where people tend to doubt themselves, their doubts, their accomplishments, and their achievements. So really it's their self-talk, negative self-talk getting the best of them. Up until about the 1960s, it was a blanket term. And then a female psychologist started to study it differently. She broke it down into 5 categories, which that gave people a lot more chance to see themselves represented. So we have the perfectionist, the superhuman, the natural genius, the soloist, and the expert. And I think even just from hearing those, you can start to see where you might be showing up for them. So many people will show up in different places and spaces in their lives, and that's perfectly normal. And so my tools for anyone, no matter which one you feel like you're experiencing, you can move through. Number one, get curious, asking yourself questions. Why am I feeling this way? Where is it coming from? Number two, showing yourself the receipts. Your subconscious mind can't tell the difference. So the receipts are the reminders of when you've done it before. And number three is changing your perspective. I can't do it till I can do it.
Nailed it. I love that. Show the receipts. Yes. And like,
Show
you
the
can't take
receipts.
medication for imposter syndrome. I'm going to take that one with me. I think
That's
that's
right.
like for real, for real. That is like
That's right.
absolutely real.
But I don't want people to think that that takes away from the impact that it may have on people.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a really good like
Ooh,
context.
a minute goes by fast.
You nailed it. Yeah, that was like really expertly done.
Thank you.
So as promised, with our few minutes remaining, we want to hear some feedback, insights, questions, like anything come up for anybody, any questions that we had with this rapid fire doses of wisdom around well-being that we want to share, reflect on, or maybe contribute more deeply to the conversation.
Hi,
Ellen.
Ellen Chua here for a moment. 60 seconds is definitely not long enough. It's like such a pleasure to hear you all speak. A number of you talked about changing perspective, or this like, hey, if you get caught in the reaction, remember to draw from some self-regulatory skills and then pivot. And I'm curious, because that takes quite a bit of skillfulness or resources, what advice you have for people that are super busy, often feel like things are happening to them. How do you actually change perspective? How do you change mindset? Because it's such an easy thing to say, but such a difficult thing to do. Josh.
Oh, sure, I'll pipe in. I, for myself, I know the times where I think I don't have enough time is when I need it the most, and setting aside that time to do breath work or meditation, and that's the biggest game changer for me in my life. Um, quick a quick story. My son woke up the other day. He's 3.5 years old, almost 4, and he was just super grumpy and whiny and wanted to watch TV. And I put something on, and I decided to put on guided breath work. And he's done it with me before for a little bit, and going through the breathing or whatever. And he didn't want to. I mean, I don't want to most of the time. Think, oh, okay, I set aside 15 minutes, whatever. It's kind of whining, and I just like stuck with it. I started doing it. At about 2 or 3 minutes in, he was beside me, following this guided meditation, doing it with me. Almost not even 4 years old yet, 3 years old, and sat with me it was 17 minutes long. And at the end, he just looked at me and smiled and hugged me and said, "I love you, Dad." And we went on with our day. It's hard for all of us, but if a 3-year-old can do it, we don't have our parents. We have to be our own parents to push ourselves into those moments, to take a few minutes to just do the practice, do the work, and experience a shift.
Thank you. Miriam, I saw that you might have had a question.
Well, I really appreciated your question, Ellen. But no, I just wanted to say, because I'm not entirely sure what I signed up for. I just thought it looked interesting, and I was like, I happen to be free at this time. I'm really interested in this subject matter. And while all of you provided really interesting perspectives and these minute doses of your lens, I just thought was really fun. Like, it was really fun to have this rapid fire, like covering this range of topics. So anyway, I've just been here like smiling to myself and nodding and clapping. And anyway, yeah, no, I thought it's been really great. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for reflecting that, Miriam. I think one of our goals at the Facilitator Store is, although we are all very serious about what we do and we take our expertise very seriously, we also understand that there needs to be levity. And I think Jillian can really appreciate this as well. There needs to be some levity and playfulness in how we approach this. I think, especially when we were designing the session, smiles were at the top of our list of desired outcomes. So I think that was a really beautiful reflection. Thank you so much for sharing that. Anybody else have anything? Yeah, Ellen.
It's me again. Hi. Hey, guys. Okay. I came across this idea about ritualizing disruption because we're such habitual beings. And inevitably, as we get busy, self-doubt creeps in. It's like part of exhaustion. And I'm curious to people that are at your stage of life and expertise. What do you think about that? And what do you do in your own lives to take time to like dump out the imposter syndrome cup or the self-doubt cup or the negative affect that builds up? What do you do in your life to ensure that you're caretaking that? And what do you do to disrupt the patterns so that you let what needs to die die and you make space to rebirth the things that you're birthing?
Oof. I love that question, Ellen. Who feels called to respond to that? Gary.
Yeah, I'll chime in. So fundamentally, it's either you believe that where you are is where you're meant to be, or you don't, I think. I truly believe where we are is exactly where we need to be. So I see any friction or any discomfort I have in the moment as information on where I have to dig deeper. And it's rarely ever anything that's life changing for me. It's these little kind of feelings that boil up saying, you know what, there's a little bit of friction when you deal with these type of people or when you talk about this. And it actually just directs where I focus my time as far as personal growth. So I see it as a great thing. And I honestly think, those areas of discomfort are our biggest teachers. So without that, we're essentially stagnant. Again, this is in my perspective.
Yeah, Jillian.
I love that, Gary. That was great. I'll touch on the negative affect part because one of the things that I've come to learn is that people think because I study happiness that I'm happy all the time. And I'm not. And when we look at the research, sometimes in the literature, it's referred to as like the dark side of happiness, where we see that people who try to be happy all of the time end up being less happy than other people. And so we all have good days and bad days, myself included. And I let myself have bad days sometimes. Sometimes I wake up and just I'm grumpy, and that's okay. And instead of trying to suppress my emotions or try to force myself to feel happy when I'm not, we call this toxic positivity. I'll let myself have a day because you take that day, you wake up, the next day is a new day. And that's part of being human. And in terms of healthy psychological functioning, the question sort of becomes if we're marinating in those feelings for like weeks or months, then that's a different conversation. But I think for humans, letting us know that, we all have good days and bad days, and it's part of being human. And to just give ourselves the grace to not have all these shoulds about how we should be feeling.
Gary, oh, love this. Yes.
It's another question, though. It's not a comment on Jillian's point. So if anybody wants to comment on Jillian's point.
I think what I would like to just do in terms of synthesizing those two responses is sort of one, feeling it in your body. Gary, I love that, sort of acknowledging the sensorial experience of it. And then Jillian, sort of once acknowledged, give oneself grace for being in that experience. So I think that's a really beautiful combination of practices. Yeah. Yeah, Gary.
So just a question on how you guys feel about the benefit of labels, because we're a society that likes to label our situations, label our affect, label who we are. What advantage do labels give?
Ellen.
I have thoughts. I will start by saying, like anything, I think any concept has its pros and its cons, and things live on a continuum. I think naming how we feel, a neurologist might say, it will deactivate the more reactive parts of your brain so that you know what you're feeling when you're feeling it, and then your higher order functions can come online. And I think that's helpful. It's good to say, I am angry right now. I'm noticing I'm feeling angry right now. And that would be beneficial in terms of emotional intelligence. And I think we can become very attached. And in labeling, you fall victim maybe to like black and white thinking, or it's all or nothing, and that would be a cognitive distortion. But I think the case for it is that it gives us a language, some sort of shared mental model to work from, and it bridges our understanding of each other so that there's value to it. And of course, that value doesn't transcend everything all the time. It sounds like you have thoughts about the downsides. Yeah, go ahead.
Wait,
Just a
I
sorry.
before I hop in,
Sorry,
I just
man.
want to flag time,
Yeah.
because we are at time. But Gary, please take it away. I need to hear what you have to say. I'm dying.
Okay.
Your thoughts are.
So I love that. I love that clarification. I would also throw out there's this fluid kind of in the moment addressing something, and there's this past, present, and future label of who you are that are very, very different things. So I fully feel the in the moment qualifying a situation. I'm not angry. I feel angry in this moment. I have anger in me. And I find the transient nature has value. So that's what I love your kind of split between the two, because those are very, very different things. One puts you in a rut. One is helping you digest what's happening in the moment. Thanks, Mina. Sorry for the time.
No, that's great. Yeah, it's sort of the attachment to or the identification of, right? The two distinct things. I'm going to pass it over to Ellen to help close out the session. This was indeed a rapid fire 30 minutes. So thank you all so much for helping us land our Serenity Now pilot and make this happen. So Ellen, over to you.
So this is our first Serenity Now. So thank you for being a part of it. Thank you to those that showed up. And if you're watching this as a recording, I hope you get the sense that within each one of these Zoom boxes, there is a deep, deep, deep well of wisdom. And again, the purpose of these is that we can share ideas, but without the skills or the coaching behind them, it becomes hard to move them from ideas into changed behavior, which is the intention behind here. So if you have any questions, then please come to the next Serenity Now. If you would like to meet these experts in more, if you want to dive into the well with them, then please check out the email at the end of this. And just to every single one of you, thank you so much for shining your light with us. We appreciate it so much. Thank you.